Welcome back to the class, students. So in the last two classes we started discussing about this V-wave control method of induction motors. So what we have derived in the first classes, so we are going to keep this V-wave ratio constant to keep the flux constant. And in the second class we started discussing about how we can able to say that by keeping this B and F varied at the same ratio, this magnetizing current is kept constant. So from these two equations, we have understood that while varying the frequency with the ratio of A, the voltage also should be varied at the same ratio so that this magnetizing current will get constant in all the cases. So while varying the frequency, voltage is also varied with the same ratio. The next parameter will automatically vary is this XL because XL is 2 pi FL. This inductive reactance is directly proportional to the frequency. So this X will also vary at the same ratio as that of the frequency. And another parameter which will vary is the synchronous speed. Omega ms is the synchronous speed, or you can say that N is synchronous speed of the motor, that is 120 F by P. So this omega ms or ns is directly proportional to the frequency. So the synchronous speed will also directly proportional to the frequency. So while varying the frequency with certain ratio, the voltage will, say in this particular case, F desired frequency is going to be F is going to be A into E rated from this equation. You just see. So desired frequency F is going to be A into F rated. If F is varied with the ratio A, the voltage is also you have to vary the voltage also with the same ratio A. Then automatically these two parameters will vary. This X and omega ms will automatically vary with the same ratio. You are varying the voltage and frequency with the same ratio, and hence these two parameters indirectly will automatically vary with the same ratio of A. This reactance, inductive reactance, and this omega ms. Okay, 4 parameters are going to be varied. You are varying 2 parameters, the voltage and frequency with certain ratio. Automatically this inductive reactance and synchronous reactance is getting varied with the same ratio. So that this rotor current equation is E by Z. So we just analyzed in the previous class. What we have understood is this rotor current is also going to be the constant parameter here in this VPF control method. Since by keeping this Im constant, this rotor current will also be kept constant. If this IR dash is also, that is this rotor current with respect to the stator side, is kept constant, this parameter A also represent is going to be constant because all other parameters are constant here. So in this VBF ratio control, we are intentionally keeping this Im constant, and hence this IR dash is also becoming constant. So that means this AS is also constant in this method. Okay. So this is the equation for slip. So you can write this equation as AS is equal to A into omega S minus omega M by omega ms. This part is slip speed, that is the difference between synchronous speed and actual speed of the motor. So that equation I explained you in the last class itself. So S into A is going to be slip speed divided by omega ms. Since this parameter is going to be constant in this particular method, the slip speed is a constant and this omega ms is also constant. So this is synchronous speed is constant. So in this particular method, since this SA parameter is constant, slip speed is going to be constant. But in all other speed control methods of induction motor, what will happen in voltage control or separate frequency control or any other method of control, the speed or characteristics of the induction motor usually be drooping. Here actually it will be decreasing and it will obtain a peak torque at certain point and then it will decrease. It will usually be drooping like any other motor. But in this particular method, since we are keeping the parameter A is constant, the slip speed is the difference in speed between synchronous speed and actual speed of the motor, or it is the drop in speed from no load to full load, that is going to be kept constant in this method. Since the slip speed is constant, the speed or characteristics curve now become parallel lines. At any frequency of operation, this is going to be a parallel line. And another point, how this is going to be kept at a constant value. This T max, so it is a omega m and T, that is a speed torque characteristics in omega T plane, okay, speed torque, speed omega m, torque is T. So the speed torque characteristics is going to be a constant, or it is a parallel line. So it is the very big advantage of this induction motor, right? Because immediately which parameter will be affected in induction motor is while varying the speed, so that is going to be drooping characteristics in induction motor, but here it is going to be constant, like a DC motor, constant speed or characteristics is being achieved. So that is the one thing we have understood from this equation SA. And another equation I'm going to explain you is about the Chorg equation. So this is the current equation, and Chorg equation is for a three-phase induction motor 3 I squared R dash by S, IR square R dash by S. It is actually PG by omega ms is the equation for torque. Either it is PG by omega ms or it is PM by omega m. So you can use any of the equation. So here we have used PG by omega ms. So here PG is the air gap power or rotor input power. Okay. So that is slip. Actually, this is the air gap power or power available in the air gap or rotor input power or stator output power. Okay. By omega ms, A into omega ms here, because it is a variable frequency control. It is a three-phase induction motor. So now we are substituting the equation for current from this particular equation. So you are getting this as the torque equation of induction motor, and then you get the condition to get the maximum torque is, so we will be deriving. So you will this is all we have derived in the conventional induction motor torque equations. So the condition is S will be equal to R2 by X2, or you can say that R2 will be equal to S into X2. That is the conventional equation. So that with this condition, you will be getting the maximum torque in induction motor. So here X is A times of X. So it is because it is being a variable frequency control. So you are substituting this particular condition of SM, that is the maximum torque condition, in this equation, and you are getting the maximum torque equation. So I am substituting this particular value in this equation. So you can get the T max equation is, so this particular equation. So here what you can understand is all the parameters are constant. See, this omega ms is the synchronous speed is going to be constant. Rated voltage is the constant value, and this rotor reactance is also a constant value. So what you can get from this equation is T max is going to be constant. That is the maximum torque is going to be kept constant in this method. So that is why the speed torque characteristics is not drawn like this. The maximum torque is going to be constant for any, it is irrespective of any value, this maximum torque. So in all this speed torque equation, it is for one particular speed torque curve, for one particular frequency. It is for another frequency, and it is for another frequency. Whatever it may be, the maximum torque obtained is going to be constant. So two conclusion we have made in this analysis. One thing is the speed torque characteristics is going to be a parallel line, or slip speed is going to be constant, since this parameter is constant in VBF control method. And another parameter is the T max is going to be constant. So you are getting the speed torque characteristics like this for any value of frequency. So this is omega ms. So this is for any frequency less than this omega ms. So for any frequency of operation, the speed torque characteristics is going to be a parallel line. So this is the difference between actual speed torque characteristics of the induction motor, which will usually be drooping in nature. But in this particular method of VBF control method, the speed torque characteristics is going to be a constant and parallel line. Slip speed is maintained constant here. Okay. As well as the maximum torque obtained is also going to be constant. So this is for one particular frequency, and this is for another particular frequency. It will be like this and so on. Okay. And okay, so this is the operation at a constant flex. If suppose you are using a direct flex control method, so you'll be getting like this. But we will be going with VBF ratio control only, because direct measurement of flex is not at all possible. It is, or you can say it is very difficult. So we will be keeping the flex indirectly constant by keeping this VBF ratio constant. Okay. So for higher values of voltages, this voltage and frequency can be kept at a very constant ratio, because the stator resistance drop will not be much dominant in the higher voltage ranges. But at the lower voltage ranges, what will happen? Because these two characteristics, it is slightly shifted like this, no? So here what is happening is, this operation actually represents, it is the operation at very low voltage ranges. At very low voltage ranges, in sense, for example, it is a 440 volt motor, per phase voltage will be 230 volt. So if you are operating nearer to the rated voltage, what will happen? This drop in voltage, this is due to the stator resistance, will be very lesser as compared to 230 volt. This drop in voltage, say for example 10 volt or 20 volt, is very lesser as compared to 230 volt is concept. But at lower speed ranges, suppose you are controlling the speed of the motor at the very lower speed ranges, that means the voltage also has to be reduced, voltage and frequency has to be reduced at a very lower values. Suppose you are operating the motor at a very at 50 volt, what will be the stator resistance drop? And as usual, it is going to be around 20 voltage. So for 50 voltage, this 20 voltage drop is very higher, dominant. So apart from the applied voltage, the part of the voltage, around 50% of the voltage is going to be the stator resistance drop. So that what you can understand is, this VPF ratio will not be as desired as in the previous cases. That is nearer to this 230 volt. In 230 volt, this stator resistance drop is not a dominant part. But in the very lower ranges, this stator resistance voltage drop is being considered now. This VPF ratio will not be as usual, it is very constant, but it will be somewhat deviated from this particular value as expected. For that, what you have to do is, you have to increase this voltage. Suppose for decide operation at 50 volt, instead of applying the voltage at 50 volt, you have to apply 70 volt, say for example, to compensate for 20 voltage stator resistance drop, like that, no? So if you only apply that compensated voltage here, this VBF ratio will be exactly maintained constant at the lower speed ranges. So the speed of characteristics will be slightly deviated away from the expected characteristics, as in the case of your constant flex method. It is a direct method of keeping the flex constant by using some methodology to measure and maintain a closed loop operation of the flex control. But it is being very difficult. We are going in practical cases with the VPF ratio control method. So here at the lower speed ranges, the theta characteristics will be slightly deviated from the practical from the constant flex method control. I think you have understood the difference between direct flex control method or indirect, indirectly keeping the flex constant by keeping the VBF ratio constant. So this is a method actually being followed in industries also, in all VFDs, that is variable frequency drives. Okay. So I think you understood this VBF control method clearly. Still, if you have any doubt, you just text me in the Moodle website. You first go through this video, then you read this material. It is also posted in the Moodle website. Both this video and this text material is posted in the Moodle website. You just go through video and then read this portion, theory portion, and then even then, if you get any doubt, you just text me in the discussion forum of that Moodle website. So these are all the speed control methods of induction motor. So we have completed voltage control, frequency control, variable frequency control method, and some pole changing methods also, cascaded control also. One more method still pending is the slip speed recovery scheme. So I will take the slip speed control in the next class. Okay, thank you for listening to us.